What is GEO? What is generative engine optimization? This is something that emerged from the shift in traditional search engines like Google and Bing to generative AI engines like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity. But it's not really that well known, so let's learn a little about it together, because I swear it's even cooler than it sounds. Generative engine optimization. Doing that in this video, I will be answering the following questions. The elephant in the room: what is generative engine optimization? What makes GEO unique? What are some things to consider about GEO? How can consumers use GEO to find better answers? How can businesses use GEO to drive traffic? And lastly, what does GEO say about the future of AI? Now, these videos are 99% scripted, but I will admit that ChatGPT was my source here and I used it for some help with structuring, but I thoroughly revised this video more than once to add my own personality and spin and experience to it, because I'm a content creator, not a content generator. But I wanted to disclose all that, and the reason why is something I hope becomes apparent the further you get into this video. That being said, without further ado, what is generative engine optimization? GEO is the practice of adapting digital content so that AI-powered search tools and chatbots like Alexa and ChatGPT are more likely to put together responses based on citations and summaries of that content. The general idea here is that instead of optimizing so you can rank really high on search results, which seems to be the 30-year-old way of SEO, which by the way is not a bad thing, I'm just saying it arrived frighteningly early to the great big engine optimization house party of the 21st century. Instead of all that, GEO aims to make content more discoverable and favorable to large language models that directly put together answers to questions that just anyone has to ask the internet. What makes GEO unique? Versus SEO, SEO optimizes for keywords and links to rank really high on search results, but GEO optimizes for conciseness, structure, and verifiability. While SEO competes for clicks, GEO competes to be quoted or summarized in AI-generated answers. SEO may focus on volume of web traffic, but GEO is going to focus on visibility within an AI search engine zero-click experience. And lastly, while SEO relies on links and metadata and authority, GEO relies on structure and accuracy and citations. Here are some things to consider about GEO. If you write clearly, with structured, fact-based language, you will get the results you want. Now that I think of it, this is the case whether you're a content creator, business owner, or just a consumer trying to find the answer to something. In order to make information more easily digestible to large language models, GEO likes to create answers using things like frequently asked questions, bulleted lists, and other structured formats. You will find over and over and over again how obsessed GEO is with these structured formats per se. Original and high quality content overall is key. Like I said, a content creator, not a content generator. Let's leave the actual generation to the AI, shall we? How can consumers use SEO to find better answers? The thing about AI is that it improves as it learns, and it learns as long as we interact with it. Why do you think algorithms are so advanced? It's not just because they're developed by brilliant people. Think about it. ChatGPT talks to millions and millions of people every single day, so that AI-generated answers become more accurate, diverse, and useful as more content creators begin to use this practice of GEO. GEO appreciates content that's formatted for these generative models because it's easier to analyze, which means less fuzz and more clear responses. GEO also likes it when creators check their facts and cite their sources, because that will grow trust in what the AI has to say. For example, if you ask ChatGPT, what are the symptoms of IBS? And there's a health site like Cleveland Clinic that wrote their content using GEO, the response will likely be well-sourced and current and precise. How can businesses use GEO to drive traffic? 1. A main idea here is being quoted by AI. Your content is more likely to be pulled into these relevant generative responses when it's structured, well-cited, and relevant. And that's because the deeper we get into the future of GEO, the more important this becomes. And that's because there's a finite amount of info that's really gonna make its way into those responses. But even if consumers don't directly visit your website, this still increases your brand exposure. 2, making AI-friendly friendly content. Put out the type of stuff that AI is attracted to pulling from, like structures, the big on structures. FAQ style posts, videos, and also definition. These ones you'll find are very big on Google. Step-by-step, like how-tos and quick summaries. Also, make sure to use schema markup so that you can make your authorship and brand transparent. I came across the term schema markup multiple times writing these videos, and I wondered what it was. So like anyone with a working brain in 2025, I looked it up, and what I saw was, of course, from a generative response, that schema markup is basically a vocabulary that search engines use to interpret different information. 3, stay trustworthy. Large language models are increasingly trained to prefer credible, non-clickbait content with verified facts. And this training will continue as it advances. Increasingly. After all, developing authority isn't about ranking anymore. Now it's about being a source. 4, use tools like Perplexity and ChatGPT's web browsing. You need to check which content these things link to. That way you can further emulate these concise structures that perform so freaking well. And lastly, number 5, track your citations. There are some businesses who now monitor how often their content is quoted by AI search tools, just like how they used to keep track of those blue links. And lastly, what does GEO say about the future of AI? Search is becoming slowly but surely conversational and generative. Instead of getting a bunch of links, people ask AI for straight up answers. And what I think the people who built these tools had in mind was that they wanted to minimize time and clicks between having a question and getting an answer to it. GEO hints it really does at a paradigm shift in content creation, because creators eventually will start focusing more on catering to these large language models than to people who just skim and don't actually find anything. So now you have this new need for people to understand how AI models work and how to make content that caters to them. People like me, for instance. The people, though, who really gain the authority will be the ones who can influence AI output the best, and not just search engine rankings. These two go hand in hand, by the way, SEO and GEO. In fact, the next video I make about this is going to be about the differences and relationship between these two. Transparency and trust and honesty are becoming more and more significant for businesses and content creators. The more of my newer videos you see, the more you'll see me trying to adopt these best practices and learning about them. The ones who come out on top of things really later on, I really think it'll be because they placed their bet on GEO. But that, my friends, is GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you found this video entertaining. I hope you learned from it. This is something that I have literally never made a video about ever. I've never made a video about anything like this before. But I find that this fascinating technology tends to weave itself more into our lives and our everyday actions and conversations. So I definitely figure that it's something to learn about. Please make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can see more of the stuff that I'm putting out on this channel. And if you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to get a notification whenever I drop new videos, that would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.